We've talked a little bit, Alex, about the potential candidates because, again, I think it is the right time to start talking about that because, again, if this thing continues to go the way it looks like it's going to go, and there's nothing to tell you that it's going to turn around magically all of a sudden, I think it's time to start having those conversations. I was telling you off air, we put out an article on Monday about top candidates to replace Will Muschamp, and the article got 1,000 views within 30 minutes. People are a little bit interested to hear who could possibly be taking the job. But I'm not going to ask you necessarily about a specific guy, but I'm going to throw out some names, and I just want to hear your overall thoughts on the names that are floating around. We've heard Hugh Freeze, Shane Beamer, Billy Napier. We've heard Luke Fickell. We've heard Matt Heupel. We've heard Joe Brady from the Panthers that was at LSU. Like, those are the most popular names out right now. And then there are some other outliers as well. And we again talked off air, like maybe like a Bob Stoops is a little unrealistic, even though we'd both love a hire like that. But when you take a look overall at the pool of candidates, like what are your thoughts? I mean, how would you feel about South Carolina exploring this coaching market for a new head coach, if you will?
I mean, I like Luke Fickell a lot. I like Josh Heupel. Joe Brady would be awesome. I don't know enough. I know who Billy Napier is. I don't know enough about him to make an educated call there one way or the other. How
about Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina? That's a name I've seen thrown around. No Power 5 experience, but has been at Charleston Southern, now Coastal, and he's turned those programs completely around. Obviously, there are pros and cons on both sides. Again, his lack of experience at the top level, but what he's done with lesser talent, you can't shy away from.
Yeah, no, somebody like that, I think that's a good hire. You're getting like a hot, young up-and-comer who wants to do it. And, I think going that direction is a good idea.
Now,
unless you can get somebody like if Urban Meyer said yes, or Bob Stoops said yes, or somebody like that said yes.
I said, hey,
you're going to
give him that blank check and a pen and say, hey, write down an amount. It's yours. We want you. I mean, why not? Why? I want to ask you specifically on Hugh Freeze. That's a name that has been floating around a lot. Like I told you, I heard from a source of mine that somebody that would know people within USC's program. He said he knows a guy in the football ops, and obviously I'm not going to give his name out there, but a pretty solid source that has told me that Hugh Freeze has been in contact with Ray Tanner. So again, it's all rumors, but where there's smoke, generally there's fire. What would you think about, again, Hugh Freeze had his problems off the field. We all understand that at Ole Miss, but the bottom line is the guy has won wherever he's gone. They literally just beat Virginia Tech over the weekend. They're 7-0 at Liberty in his second season there. And I know it's Liberty, and week in, week out, they're not playing, the elite competition, but still, the guy has won no matter where he was. And we talked a little bit, he won with an Ole Miss program that I would say is very comparable to South Carolina in the sense that it's like not a ton of tradition. It's not the easiest place to win. And he recruited at a really, really high level, was able to beat Alabama. I mean, they accomplished a lot, and he's an offensive-minded guy. He does have those SEC ties, which, again, I don't think should be the end-all, be-all, but that is something that really stands out to people as important. The name Hugh Freeze, how would you feel about that one?
I mean, I'd be fine with Hugh Freeze as long as we didn't give him a cell phone.
That's a good point.
That's really my only requirement.
No burner phones, Hugh. No
burners. No burners for Huey, baby. No, I'd be fine with Hugh Freeze. Like, he's obviously a good coach. I don't know. Like, I know there was like some show cause stuff
as far as
he got terminated.
Yeah, well, and they had some sanctions come down too, some recruiting violations.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as we're not like taking penalties to get him, right. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I think if nothing else, a guy like Hugh Freeze, we talked about this with like Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. And I understand the struggles Leach, but a guy like Hugh Freeze would make the South Carolina football program once again interesting. Just if nothing else, they'd be interesting. Which at this point, I think Gamecock fans. I was talking to my buddy about this a little bit earlier today. I'm like, dude, when you're looking at the next head coach, like I feel like, oh, is this the guy that's going to get us to a national championship? Is almost so, unfortunately, so far removed from people's minds. It's all about can we just find a coach that's going to make watching Carolina football fun again? I mean, honestly, like it's gotten to that point where like people aren't even looking forward to game day with Will Muschamp anymore. That's like I was joking with you. I'm like, dude, I'll take anybody. I don't care who it is. I mean, go hire Steven Garcia. I don't care.
Yeah,
Screw
sure.
it. At this point, I genuinely just want somebody else.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, 99% of the fan base feels the exact same way. So, yeah, anybody that's got a pulse and has, I cannot stress this enough, has a winning record where they were before.
Yeah.
Or didn't get fired because they couldn't win where they were before. Sure. Just shovel them in there. That's
like,
good.
I honestly, I look at the pool of candidates, Alex, and it's so funny because I still think to myself, I don't think there's a coach out there you'd hire who has a worse track record than Will Muschamp had at Florida. There's not a single one. Literally not a single one. Like even with the off the field stuff,
Mike Bobo.
Right. And I'm not counting Bobo in this because that, I mean, if they did that, I'm done with Carolina football. I mean, it's bottom line. I'm sorry, like no offense to Mike Bobo, but it's, come on, it's just need to completely gut the thing. But no, it's just I don't think there's a coach out there that has a worse track record than Muschamp had when you hired him, which is crazy to say. I mean, really, it is. So that's where kind of where Carolina football sits right now, Alex. Obviously, I mean, we could talk about this game against Ole Miss and break it down, and you're a 7-point dog on the road in Oxford. As bad as it sounds, I don't even really want to waste the breath because I think we could just say, hey, what do you need to see from this team? You need to see everything. I mean, what do you not need to see from this football team? I think we both agree a quarterback change is probably for the best. Does it really equate to any more positive results? I highly doubt it. But it's very interesting, this Ole Miss game. It could serve as a game where, hey, maybe this group of guys in the locker room, they really come together and get each other's back and they say, screw the outside noise. And maybe they surprise people and pull an upset. Or maybe this is the game that really puts the final nail in Will Muschamp's coffin. I mean, it could be one of the two.
Because we'll score points.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Ole Miss will also score points.
Ole Miss is going to score a lot of points.
Lane Kiffin is going to score a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of
the over.
Yeah, that's dude. And by the way, we'll obviously talk gambling tomorrow. I couldn't believe it. The over-under in this game is 71.5.
Okay, maybe
71.5.
That seems like a lot.
That seems like an insane amount.
That's a classic Pac-12.
Are they expecting Ole Miss to score at least 50, it seems? I mean, they must be expected to score 50. They have to. I mean, maybe. Maybe they will.
Yeah, somebody's going to get to 40 for sure. So
yeah. Oh, that's a given. Yeah. I mean, if you're having that type of total, yeah, that's a given.